Joe, could you speak to coming to the Jets? Just walk us through the process. Why sign now as opposed to maybe waiting a little bit in the preseason when you were fully healthy?
Yeah, well, I guess that kind of thought process I was back and forth on for a while, but I ultimately think it's important to get on a team and get comfortable with the guys on the team and get comfortable with Sam in this situation, get comfortable with the offense that, I'm going to at some point be running in some capacity and all that. And, it's just one of those things that, I had to make a decision to get something done this off season, and being on a team come this fall was an important thing for me.
Joe?
Yeah.
Joe, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. How did you guys come up with that timetable, whether it was you, the doctors, or the Jets, where you guys felt that you would be ready in the middle of September? How do you discern that as far as that being the time?
Staying away from talking about timetables right now. So if anything, anything you do here is maybe not coming directly from me, but I'm really relying on the doctors at this point to kind of come up with that timetable. And when we get there, we'll see how everything is going. And I'm all ready to move forward. I just want to make sure that I'm as safe as possible. Going back out in the field and being able to take a hit if that's what it needs to be. So I'm really relying on the doctors at this point. That's the main decision maker.
Thank you.
Joe, what do you know about this offense now that I guess you've seen it for a few days, and can you tell us about your conversations with either Sam or Adam or both of them during this?
Yeah, well, I've been in the virtual meetings the last few days, and I think no matter what offense you're in, there's carryover from offenses to offense, and I think this is going to be a little bit different, in certain ways from everything that I've done. It's been interesting to kind of just be in on the meetings the last couple of days. It's tough to, follow all conversations because you don't know the offense yet. But I'm trying to pick up as much as I can and learn as much as I can. And therefore, once I do start to learn a little bit of the offense and I'm able to ask the right questions, I think that's when I can start to kind of be able to help Sam even in this kind of setting. Is when I do learn some of it, I can start asking Adam some questions to, to have us all better understand what's going on. Because even for Sam, this is only his, I think, second year going into this offense. So, we are all going to be in there learning to some extent. And then I think Adam's also learning, what Sam does well. And I think just my experience and being in different offenses and doing different things and all that can kind of help us work through some things.
Hey, Joe, you've obviously been a starter and a performer at the highest level of the game here over the years. I just wonder, could you speak to how much you're embracing once you do get all this stuff down, the things that you can do for Sam as the backup and whatnot? And, obviously that's a new role for you.
Yeah, well, I'm fully embracing it. I mean, it's where I am right now, and I'm glad to be on a team playing football, in some capacity. And I think it's going to be huge to get in there and know the guys and develop a relationship with the team and do anything I can to help the team get better. And in that process, help Sam with whatever he needs to help with, take his mind off of something or, tell him how I see things or how I've dealt with this in the past, even if it is, on the football field or stuff that's off the football field. So I think when you're on a team and you've always played team sports, you're used to doing what's good for the team. And it doesn't really matter what, the fact that my role is a little bit different at this point. You're still trying to help the team and you're part of a team and that's all good.
Joe, even as you kind of come into this new role of being a backup, do you still have the confidence that you can be a really good NFL starting quarterback over the long haul for a team, whether that's next year? And, would you still have that confidence at this point in your career?
Well, for sure. I mean, we're talking about all these things and, that is my role, is to help the team out. But I obviously still believe that I'm a starting quarterback and, you never know what 3 years down the line is going to look like. So I still have that confidence and I still have the want to do that. But, you know, at this moment, that's not my role. My role is to help the team get better and to help a young quarterback see things as clearly as possible and help him on his journey to be, to being, a long-time NFL quarterback.
Joe, what did you learn last year in your, sorry if there's something weird just happened with the audio. What did you learn last year in Denver working alongside Drew Lock? You're saying you're totally embracing this role. What did you learn that you can kind of apply to this new role?
Well, it's tough. I mean, I think, Drew was a young guy coming in a different situation. He obviously knew what his role was at some point. And, he was also a decently high draft pick. So he had aspirations to play. Listen, I don't think there's any backups in this league that don't have aspirations to be a starting quarterback. So it's just part of the business. It's part of being on a team and knowing your role. And roles can change here and there, and you can be on different teams from year to year. I mean, I obviously know that at this point. But right now, at this point in time, I mean, I know what my role is, and I'm glad to do so. I mean, it is what it is, and things were different last year. I got hurt, obviously, and was unhealthy, and I know what it's like to not feel like being part of the team because you really can't have your hand in things. And I think in the role that I am in right now, you can definitely have a good and positive effect on the team.
Have you reached out to see him?
We actually just got off the phone about 20 minutes ago. So it was a good conversation, and we've been on the meetings the last few days together. So, he seems great.
Joe, how much have you studied Sam, whether it's on film, in these last, obviously you've only been a Jet for about 10 minutes, but how much have you studied him, and what's your impression of him, of what you do know about him?
Not much. I mean, if I'm being honest, my impression is that he's a young guy that has, really good athleticism, can move in the pocket, can move out of the pocket and create things for himself, has the arm strength to do what he wants with the ball, both in the pocket and out of the pocket once again. So I would say the biggest thing is just to get him to play as fast as possible, so that, after talking with him, so that he can use all those things that he has in his, in his toolbox, all those, natural talents that he has to be able to get out there and just play football the way he knows how to.
Joe, one guy you're very familiar with from Baltimore is Breshad Perriman, so you'll be reunited with him. He had some struggles during that phase of his career when you were with him. I mean, how have you seen him grow, and what kind of receiver do you think the Jets are getting?
Yeah, listen, Breshad could do a lot of things, and I'm really happy for the way his career has gone. I think, in Baltimore, when things don't quite work out with the team that you got drafted by, sometimes, it just leaves weird feelings in different people's mouths. And I'm sure Breshad it was a tough time for him, and, and how that may affect you in different ways. So I'm glad to see him go out there and have success. I'm sure his confidence is right up there where it needs to be. And he had a really good year last year. And even, with Cleveland, he was doing some really good things. So, I honestly think him moving on was a good thing probably for him mentally and everything else. And I'm glad to see where he's at. I think he can be a huge asset for us.
Hey, Joe, so you're also familiar with Joe Douglas. He was the scout that pushed the Ravens to draft you in 2008. What was it? I saw an interview where you said that you were kind of on the fence and just this was a really hard decision for you. What was his pitch to you?
Well, it wasn't necessarily a hard decision for me to come to the Jets. I mean, it's one of those things where you have to come to the hard decision for me this offseason was about getting surgery, not getting surgery, and then kind of coming to grips with the reality of what this year is going to be. I honestly think there's a lot of good things about going up to New York and being on this football team. And Joe being the guy that's there, it definitely makes you feel wanted. And I think whenever you have somebody that can make you feel that way, it settles a lot for you in your head and makes you feel very comfortable with the move. So
we'll take a few more for Joe.
Joe, just regarding your time in Denver, obviously that was a different experience for you. You had been in Baltimore your whole career. You went to Denver, I'm sure thinking, you'd be the starter there all year. Obviously things didn't pan out for various reasons. How much of a kind of disappointment was last year, and what's sort of your mindset coming off that that very different experience for you as you kind of head into this next phase of your career?
Well, it's definitely disappointing when you go out there and you don't win games right away like you want to. I mean, that's the name of the NFL. That's the name of the game here. You know, we go out there to win, and you know that's really all that matters. So the fact that we weren't able to do that as much as I kind of expected or wanted to, was definitely disappointing. But you learn a lot of things from it, and sometimes things don't go the way you want them to or the way you expect them to. But you have to kind of be able to push forward and put those things behind you and move ahead with the best mindset possible. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Hey, Joe, how hard will it be to go through a training camp with like really limited work and then all of a sudden like parachute into the regular season? I mean, if you have to play early, I mean, obviously you hope you don't, you want Sam to be healthy, but if you have to play early, how tough would that be?
Well, I think listen, it's never ideal to not have a ton of reps and then go play in NFL games. But, I would say that, being in the league, as long as I have, I would say maybe I have a little bit of an advantage over somebody that's, doesn't have very much experience. It's not like I haven't seen most things that you're going to be able to go out there and see on a game day and things like that. I think the thing that you naturally deal with is just your conditioning and game shape and all those things, and the speed of it all that you haven't seen for a while. But once again, I'd go back to, it's not ideal, but I think I maybe have a leg up over most guys that aren't able to get a lot of reps.
Joe, was there any point between the injury and then deciding on the surgery that you thought, like, is this it? Will I play again? Did you have any of those kind of thoughts going through your head that maybe that was it for you?
No, well, sometimes it's not your decision, but I never, not playing was never in my, it was never one of my choices. And, it was a tough decision for me to get surgery or not to get surgery in one respect, because like I just didn't have a ton of symptoms telling me, hey, you need to get surgery. But when it became evident that, I probably wasn't going to play football again unless I did get something done, and, a team that signed me could feel comfortable that, when I was ready to go out into the field, that I was going to stay healthy, at least in terms of this area. It became very clear that this is what I had to do. And once again, it's not ideal, but it's kind of what you sign up for when you get drafted or when you get signed by a team. You sign up for getting beat up a little bit, and things happen. And I still want to play football, so that's what I had to do, and that's what I did.
Joe, was the opportunity to be back in this part of the country a factor in you signing here?
I don't think that matters to me. It definitely is a positive thing, especially with where I am in my life and having a young family and everything that that it happens to be close to. But honestly, we pick up and move wherever I go anyway. So at the end of the day, that's not really a deciding factor in things. I think it's just a little bit of a cherry on top in this situation.
Joe, do you have a bunch of family still in South Jersey?
Yeah, everybody, man. Pretty much everybody at this point.
Joe, are you based in Jersey now? Did you move from the Maryland area? Are you here now?
Yeah, based in Jersey. Even when I was down there, I would kind of come back and forth, like in the Cherry Hill area, just outside of Philadelphia. Yeah.
What are the maps of, Joe, behind you?
I don't know. It's just some artwork somebody picked out. It's nothing important, that's for sure.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much, Joe.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe.